Good morning, everyone. It is, what day is today? Wednesday, December 10th, 2025, which won't be much longer until we're 2026. I just can't believe that. Wow. Um, I just want to welcome you to Truly Sinister. My name is Wendy. Today we are going to finish up with the affidavits for Rebecca Parks' biological mother and stepfather, Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew. Before I get started, to just touch base with the Brian Walsh case, it seems to me that the Commonwealth so far, has not proven to me anyway, that he killed Anna. So I'm thinking maybe he's regretting pleading guilty to, you know, disposal of a corpse or whatever he, but it might have been more of a strategic move too. So because they have not proven anything as far as I'm concerned that would make me believe beyond a reasonable doubt that he murdered Anna Walsh. It is what it is. I mean, do I truly believe deep down in my heart that he did? He did, or he knows who did. Yeah, I think. But everybody's entitled to a fair trial, and that is the rule for um, murder one. Premeditated. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt with a moral degree of certainty, is that how you say it, that he premeditated and carried out the murder of his wife Anna Walsh. And from what I've seen so far, they have not done that, not even close. I mean, there's not a lot of reasonable doubt, but there's also not a lot of supporting evidence to um, come back with a guilty verdict as far as I'm concerned. But everybody's different. So I guess we will wait and see what this jury thinks. Um, Tell me what you guys think. I don't know. It'll be devastating for Anna and for getting justice for Anna if they don't come through. I feel like they're not taking this case as seriously as they should. I think they thought they had a slam dunk. And Larry Tipton's just nobody to let your guard down with. I mean, he's a kick-ass lawyer as far as I'm concerned. He puts his all into his client's trials and he fights for him. And there's no sign that I am getting from Larry Tipton that he believes Brian Walsh is guilty. Excuse me. Now maybe he's just really good at hiding it or disguising it. I don't know, but I mean, I mean, he's a public defender. I mean, he's also a private practice lawyer, but he puts himself in the ring for public defender. And I'm telling you, whoever gets him as a public defender should be counting their blessings and saying their Hail Marys because, wow, he's amazing, I think. I mean, he's good, really good. So, Brian Walsh should be very thankful that he has him. So, what else is there? Is everybody done with their Christmas shopping? I'm finding that I've never really been a big, I know this is going to not be very popular opinion, but I've never been really big on Christmas. I don't know why. I don't turn into the Scrooge, but I like Halloween. And we used to go all out on Halloween because we had the perfect yard for it. We had this big corner lot where I could do a whole scene. And so we had this whole scene built up. We had a cemetery. It was a old western scene. Cemetery, saloon, poker table. We even had a gallows. Um then then we had a big walk up, and we had you know, a pretty big overhang that came pretty far out. That's where all our animatronics were, like the scary zombie girl, and we had a scary rabbit that jumped out of a hat, and he had blood all over his mouth, and he lit up. And then I had a crime scene type thing. And so that's where all the animatronics were. But the other place, on the lawn is where all the scene was. And we had a cemetery, we had a gallows, we had um a horse skeleton and a pony skeleton. Um and you had to walk through saloon doors to get up to the walkway of our house, to go under the overhang to come to the door. But after a couple of years, I found that the little kids were too afraid to come to the door because of all the animatronics and the zombie girls, and I had Limbless Libby, who was on a walker, but she had just strings hanging down instead of legs, and she lit up and moved like she was, using the walker. Just all kinds of really cool stuff. But little kids were too afraid to come up to the door, so I would come out and stand in front of the walkway where that led to the door. And so if anybody wanted to come up and walk through that area, they could. But yeah, then I had a projector around the corner that was going up on the side of the house of ghosts and whatnot and noise. And it was just really cool. Yeah, and the saloon doors were cool, but we got a lot of people. I mean, people started coming before sundown. And every year I would come home from work the morning of Halloween, and I would stay up and I'd carve like 10 to 12 pumpkins with different designs on them. And then right before trick or treating started, right before we started getting trick or treaters, I would go place them sporadically throughout the scene, on the front lawn, and then put candles in them and light them. And it looked so cool. And it was just crazy. I mean, I was so into it. And then, of course, we had shrubs all the way around the front of the yard. So I had a lot of places to put spider webbing and stuff like that. It was just too cool. I just loved it. And but when we first moved there, our neighbors didn't tell us that they get a lot of trick-or-treaters, and I went to the store like 4 times to get more candy. So then from then on we knew, but we'd get a good 500 trick-or-treaters on Halloween. So we made it to where the saloon doors were one way, and we had like arrows pointing where you walk in the saloon doors, you get your candy, and you exit this way, because there was just so much foot traffic that it was getting bottlenecked and people couldn't get in or out, and I couldn't keep track of who I'd given candy to already. So we made it to where there are one-way door, and so you had to go out this way. And I mean, I'd start buying the big bags of candy at Costco like in uh, August, late August, early September, because I would have to have so much candy for Halloween. I just loved it. But we bought this new house, and I don't have the yard for it. And it's really no trees, no bushes in my front yard. Um, and it's a really small, it's a lot. I mean, our backyard is huge. We have a shop, we have an outdoor kitchen, we have this and that and this and that, basketball court, a fire pit, but our front yard, not so much. And so we tried it the first year we were here, and it just didn't flow like it did at the other house. And there was just no rhyme or reason to how I was able to set it up, and I got discouraged. And then we got one trick or treater, one. And so I said, okay, we'll try it one more year. And we did, and I got no trick or treaters. So this year, the last 2 years, I have not decorated for Halloween, and it's broke my heart. And I think I'm actually gonna sell all my Halloween decor to a family friend who loves Halloween just as much as I do, and I know he'll take good care of the stuff, and I know he'll appreciate it and use it. Just breaks my heart. And so, how did I get on that story anyway? I think we were talking about Christmas. How did I get on Halloween? Anyway, so now my husband says and I would always decorate for Christmas also, but I didn't have as much fun decorating for Christmas as I did for Halloween. But now my husband says I cannot flake, and I cannot short change my Christmas decorations since I'm not doing Halloween anymore. I have to go balls out on Christmas, and I'm just not into Christmas like that. I love the beautiful lights. I love driving around looking at them. I'm just not that person, you know. I don't want it to be corny and cheesy with all inflatables, but I don't want it to be snobbish and stuck up with just fancy lights and the wicker um deer with lights. You know, I want it to be fun, but I don't want it to be cheesy like um like Christmas Vacation or whatever the movie is, you know. So I don't know. We finished our front yard for this year and it looks okay. We like I said, we made a big sleigh and it's being pulled by BMX bikes instead of reindeer because my husband races BMX and owns a BMX racing team, and he also owns a bike shop. So that's his passion, and so the bikes are in place of the reindeer, and we've gotten a lot of people stopping by looking, excuse me, taking pictures. So that's a big hit. And I think next year we're going to actually put it on top of the house. This year it's just in the front yard. So anyway, that's that. That's my Christmas story and how I'm a Scrooge. But we did go, and I actually broke down a couple years ago and bought a fake tree, and I hate fake trees, but the price of a real tree now is so outrageous that you could buy a fake tree for that, or at least two real trees will pay off a good fake tree. But we found a place, you know, you can get a forest permit to cut down your own Christmas tree, and so we did it, and we went up and we cut our own tree. And I'm telling you what, when you're in the forest, the tree doesn't look that big, you know, because it's next to all these giant redwoods or whatever. And so you pick it out and you bring it home and you bring it in the house, and it's gargantuous. I mean, it's just huge. It's like, holy shit. Plus, you don't have anybody to, you know how they saw the sides up so that it's nice and uniform and everything. Well, you don't have anybody to do that for you now, so you have to do it yourself. So I did it myself, and it was already in the house, so I made a complete mess. And I was just like, okay, this isn't how it looked in the forest, but it's working. We just have so many ornaments. It has really long branches, I can tell you that. And it's a good thing because the branches are really spaced out. So it's not like real compact. The bushiness is not real compact, if that's even descriptive enough. But it's got really long branches, and we have tons of ornaments. So we have like 6 per branch, you know, all the way into the trunk. And it looks really good. My son decorated it because he said it's kind of like our deal. I'll put the lights on, you decorate, and he loves to decorate. So, and I'm trying to get in the mood for him and my husband because, of course, my husband, they both love Christmas. Of course, what guy doesn't? I mean, what girl doesn't usually? I'm weird. I'm different. Can't help it. I love to give. I mean, I don't have a problem giving gifts, and I don't even have a problem receiving. The whole Christmas thing is just, I think it's just too stressful, and I don't like stress. I get anxiety, and so I'd just rather avoid it all, you know, and it's the worst holiday to try to avoid because nobody wants to avoid it. They all love it. So, anyway, before we get into the affidavits for Bradley, I think we left off on, I wanted to go over this story that's just heartbreaking. It's this Grammy. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but in Boston, I'm not even sure what part of Boston, this Grammy nominated musician was killed by a driver who has been arrested over 100 times. Over 100 times for vehicle violations and different traffic violations and whatnot. It doesn't say necessarily drunk driving or driving under the influence, But they did find some narcotics in the vehicle with her, as well as some packaging. Just one second. I'm so sorry. My allergies are like ridiculous right now. Um, as well as some packaging material. So they got her for, I think, distribution, maybe. But anyway, over 100 offenses this lady has had. So let's read it, shall we? It's just it's so sad. It says Grammy nominated musician struck and killed by driver with over 100 arrests in Rhode Island, police say. I thought it was Boston. Didn't it say Boston? Anyway, I guess it's not Boston, it's Rhode Island. Anyway, this is by CBS News. This is a picture of the lady right here. A Grammy-nominated musician was struck and killed by a driver with more than 100 arrests and dozens of traffic violations in Rhode Island, police said. So I guess it's not 100 traffic violations, it's actually 100 arrests, over 100 arrests. Roderick McLeod, 70, was a member of the band Roomful of Blues. I like that name. In the 1980s and received a Grammy nomination for his work with them. He was inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame in 2014, according to local media reports. McLeod was walking his dogs. Oh, God, I don't even want to think about what happened to the dogs. When he was hit by a car on Saturday, the Hopkinton Police Department said in a news release. The alleged driver was identified by police as Shannon Godbout. She is 41, CBS Boston reported, and was driving recklessly. Godbout was allegedly traveling eastbound when she left her lane and struck several objects, including 2 telephone poles, police said, and McLeod was walking his dogs on the shoulder of the road when he was hit. So she hit 2 telephone poles, among other things, before she hit him, and she was still going unbelievably fast by the time she hit him. I mean, how do you go through 2 telephone poles? Telephone poles usually stop you when you go off the road. You don't usually stop them and go through them. You know what I mean? It's like, what in the actual... And this is the middle of the day. Are you kidding me? Godbout was allegedly okay, I already read that part. Photos from the scene show a black vehicle with a destroyed pole. This is a picture of her vehicle. Look at 2 telephone poles. This one's completely split, broken in half, completely. How fast was she going? Wow. After McLeod was struck, he was transported to Rhode Island Hospital, where he died from his injuries, police said. McLeod's dog survived the crash and ran home, according to local media. Oh my God, that breaks my heart. Godbout was allegedly in possession, quote, in possession of numerous illegal narcotics and packaging materials commonly associated with drug distribution, end quote, police said. She was arrested at the scene and taken to an area hospital. She has been charged with driving as to endanger, resulting in death, and possession of narcotics with intent to distribute. She may face additional charges, police said, and remained in custody at the hospital as of Monday. Police did not detail Godbout's previous arrests, but said 8 were from the Hopkinton Police Department. 82 court warrants have been issued for her, police said, and she has received 40 traffic citations. She may face more charges as the investigation into the crash continues, police said. Can you believe that? That breaks my heart. I don't even know what to say. Why is she still out there? able to even be in this position? Why is she still out there? Why does she still have a license? Of course, I guess it could be suspended. She wouldn't. I mean, how many times do people drive on suspended licenses, right? But why is she? I don't know. It doesn't say she was drunk, so we don't know that she was, but it doesn't say that she wasn't either. So I don't know. Maybe high. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Bradley Bartholomew's uh, affidavit and interview with the investigators, or detectives, I should say. Sorry. So we do this. I'm getting pretty good at this part, I must say. Nope. Fucked up already. Okay. That went well. I'd have to refresh, so if I'm going to leave for a minute, but I will be right back, okay? StreamYard's acting up, so I'll be right back. Okay, I think I fixed it. I hope I fixed it. Anyway, sorry about that. How embarrassing. I'm so bad at this. Okay, so let's go back to what we were doing. Wow. Now I won't be able to see if it stops working because I'm on a separate page, so that's not great. All right. Bradley was, I think we left off right here. Bradley was put on notice that Rebecca's death is a homicide and that this is a homicide investigation and that there can't be any more lies. Bradley was read his Miranda rights from a Wexford County Miranda warning card. He confirmed his understanding of the rights explained to him, and he agreed to speak with the detectives at this time. Bradley reported his knowledge that Courtney went to get Rebecca. They came to the house to get Tide Pods, and they were supposed to go get ice cream. Bradley said that he was at the house with Bentley, which is one of Rebecca's kids. He admitted that he lied during his first interview about being at the residence because of the SO registry status. So apparently he's been convicted of some kind of SO. That's not good. Okay. Bradley's told that SOR violations are small in comparison to a homicide, and he says that at the time he didn't know this was a homicide. He reported that Courtney had backed out of the driveway in the Ford Escape, and then she came back. He says that at that time he had no idea where Rebecca was. He said that he knew Courtney left with the white Ford and then came back. He reported that Courtney had told him that she and Rich Fowler were in the white Ford and they had a disagreement and there was blood on the dash. Courtney asked Bradley to clean it up, which he reported that he went out and wiped it down. He said that he didn't see any blood on the floor or on the seats, just blood splattered on the dash. So are you trying to tell me that Richard Fowler hit her so hard that there was blood splatter on the dash? And she had her wherewithal at the time, post being hit hard enough to splatter blood on the dash, to call her stepfather and see if he would go out and clean it up? Really? Who believes that? I don't. I think that's bullshit. I don't buy it at all. And I'm sure the detectives didn't buy it either. I mean, for the love of everything holy. Right? Let me make myself smaller. Sorry, guys. He described that later there was white paint on the seats, and Courtney asked him to remove the seat covers, which he confirmed he did. He said he was unsure what he did with them, if they were thrown in the burn barrel or in the trash. Why wouldn't you just wash them like a normal person? Next, he said that Courtney was talking to him about how she and Rich did something horrible, but she wouldn't tell him. He claimed that once the story of Rebecca came about of her being missing, he began to put two and two together. Bradley reported that Courtney threatened that if he said anything, she'd make his life hell. Bradley identified that Courtney has tried to stab him with scissors in the past and charged with assault, but the case was dismissed. Bradley clarified that Courtney had told him about something bad happening. 5 to 6 days after Rebecca was missing, Bradley clarified that Courtney had told him about the something bad happening 5 to 6 days after Rebecca was missing. But he claimed he wasn't sure what bad thing that had been done was. But he claimed he wasn't sure what bad thing that had been done was. Man, that's weird writing. When asked about the story about the baby in the NICU at Davos, Bradley identified that she was supposedly adopting a baby, but he didn't see how she could due to his status as an SOR. Wow. Bradley said that Courtney was alone when she got into the white Ford and left north on South 21 and a half Road, and that she returned approximately 15 minutes later. He stated that he had sent a text to Courtney to see if she needed him to come outside for anything, and she responded in the affirmative. It was now that he said that Courtney reported getting into a fight with Rich. Bradley said he never observed Rich on this date and that he did not observe any injury to Courtney. Returning to the quote-unquote something bad topic, Bradley was asked to continue that topic. He identified that Courtney is all over TikTok and that Kimberly was over to use Escape to deliver newspapers. Oh, the Ford Escape, okay. He confirmed that Kimberly left personal items in the Escape and identified she did that all the time. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked about anything else that Bradley wanted known before drilling down, questions began. He said that Courtney was constantly talking to Rich. He agreed that she was also constantly talking to Kimberly. He reported he can't hear the conversations as they are all taking place by text. He only knows it's them because he sees their names on her phone. Bradley is then confronted with records from carriers, specifically T-Mobile and Verizon. He was asked about Courtney's phone that she had previously said was no longer going to have service. Bradley identified that she had service restored, but was aware that she had conducted a factory reset on the phone. He was notified that a factory reset does not prevent access to records that are maintained by the carrier. Bradley said that he had Courtney's phone on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. It is pointed out that there are phone calls between both the phone he uses and the one that Courtney uses while Rebecca is at the house. He passes these as simple calls checking on her comings and goings. You can't just walk out. You can't just walk out there and say, honey, are you leaving? Yeah, I'm leaving. What is that? No, it's because they were premeditating what they were going to do with her. That's why. But, I mean, how stupid does he think the cops are that they're going to believe that? Please. Okay, so he reports that he hasn't driven the truck since he parked it and that it only had enough gas to get to the gas station. Detective Lieutenant Pescor confronted Bradley's statement about the blood in the truck, confirming his knowledge that the truck has been seized. Identifying if there is any blood of Rebecca's found in the truck, there will be a big problem. Bradley is confronted if he thought Courtney had been lying to him about what went on. He says he does. He suggests he can't see Courtney and Rich being together like that as they haven't talked in over 2 years. Well, I got news for you, buddy. Bradley confirmed that there are no $18,000 checks. He did not know why Courtney sent images of the checks. He did say that he spoke with Kimberly on Saturday, November 1st, 2025, after their dinner that night had ended. He said she was asking about the 2 tracks behind the house. He denied that Kimberly told him that she needed to get Rebecca out of the picture. He identified that Kimberly had said this to Rich Fisher, who he identified as Courtney's cousin. How does he know that she said it to Rich Fisher if she didn't say it to him? Because he would have been there, he would have heard it, right? So he would have said, she told us. He's dumb. Detective Sergeant Hackman confronted that this is not what Rich Fisher told him when he interviewed him personally. Bradley reported that Kimberly is jealous of Rebecca and that he is aware that Kimberly has had a relationship with Rich in the past. It's not in the past. Bradley reported being upset when Kimberly was on the internet saying that he and Courtney were responsible, making a statement that he doesn't understand how anyone could do that to a pregnant woman. He answered that he believes that Courtney and Rich would be capable of doing something such as this. When asked for what purpose, he gave different possibilities. It takes a special kind of person to put shit off on. I don't care if it's your stepkid or not. It takes a special kind of person to put shit like this off on your kids. And that's all I have to say about that. It's just bullshit. Bradley agreed that he believes that Courtney is capable of slicing open her own flesh and blood and taking a baby out. Wow. He agreed that Courtney is obsessed with wanting another baby in her care and custody because she didn't have custody of any of her kids. He also agreed that it was a good possibility she could attack Rebecca and cut a baby out of her. Detective Lieutenant Piscor, sorry, I keep saying Pascore. Piscor asked if he remembered the Sunday that Rebecca was in the hospital. Courtney saying or texting, quote, "Don't you dare have this baby in the hospital," end quote. And Bradley remembers somebody saying it, but not who was saying it. Bradley confirmed going to Fayler's house on Saturday to take the gifts to Rebecca that Courtney forgot to give her at the house earlier that day. While discussing being upset that Kimberly had accused him of being involved, Detective Lieutenant Pixor, it's not Piscor, Pixor, asked why he hadn't called him, and Bradley said that Courtney had threatened him, that she didn't want him involved. His explanation was that she doesn't want to get incriminated or himself incriminated. Well, it's too late for that, honey. Bradley began to say that he thinks that Courtney has more to do with it than what she wants to claim. He said all the evidence is pointing to her. He suggests that he believes all the evidence would be in the white Ford. The blood he observed inside the truck is discussed and described. Bradley said that he removed the original seat covering about a week and a half after Rebecca went missing because it had got white paint on it. I'm here to tell you that it is not impossible to get white paint out of fabric. Okay, A. B, these people don't seem like the type of people that can just splurge on stuff as unimportant as new seat covers, and seat covers aren't cheap. Okay. And these people just fail to surprise me every time they open their mouth. They are not the brightest bulbs in the box, I guess you can say. I hate saying that, but it's like, who can blame? I mean, who does that? Throws their own wife under the bus when he knows deep down inside that he's involved in this too? I mean, what kind of piece of shit are you? And to say that, yes, she's perfectly capable of this, even if she is, it's like, you're supposed to go to bat for your spouse, right? You're supposed to have their back and defend them and help keep them out of trouble as much as you're working to keep yourself out of trouble, right? I mean, isn't that how you're partners, you're a pair, you're a team? I don't get it. Just 1 second. Okay, so let's go on. When asked what he thought happened, Bradley responded he thought Courtney was jealous of Rebecca. He agrees that Courtney would like to have another child. He also thinks that Rich wants to get back into a relationship with Courtney. So he knows. Oh my God. So you're telling me he knows that Courtney and Rich Fayler have had a relationship in the past, and what, that doesn't bother him? I mean, are all these people just trading partners or what? Because that's what it seems like. It's pretty disgusting. It's like, what in the actual hell is going on in this town? Or this house, I should say. Bradley agrees that he thinks that Courtney could point the finger at him as being responsible when we interview him. When we interview him, you mean interview her? When Bradley is confronted with Courtney being in possession of the cellular device with that phone number when she went to pick up Rebecca, he claims he can't say she possessed it, but it was there at the house and he had it to call her. He then confirms that Courtney did not have that phone when she went to Failers to pick up Rebecca. He reported she got that phone when she came back from getting the white Ford. Too many people know too much of what each other's doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, which tells me that they went over their stories beforehand. Just 1 second. Sorry. Which tells me they went over their stories beforehand, because how many people know this much about the ins and outs of their spouse running errands? I mean, my husband tells me he's going to go run errands or he's going to go pick somebody up, and he's gone for an extraordinary long period of time. I don't sit there and go, oh, well, he went and did this and this and this and this and this. I just say, well, he must have had some errands to run as well as picking somebody up. I mean, but he knows exactly who had the truck at what time and where and when. And I mean, it's like he knows too much, it's overkill. So I think that that's obviously a sign that they compared stories before they were interviewed. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to that. Okay, so where was I? Um, okay, how did I do this? Okay. Courtney did not have that. When she came back from getting the white Ford. Okay. Detective Lieutenant Pisgor asked Bradley what else he wanted us to know about, and he told us that Courtney has scalpels in her bedside stand, describing them as disposable scalpels for lancing cellulitis. What the hell? You don't lance, let's just get this straight right now. You don't lance cellulitis to begin with. Okay, let's just start there. There's so many things wrong with that statement. Bradley doesn't remember going anywhere on the morning of Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, other than to Failers to give him Rebecca's phone. Bradley confirmed that he had come to the hospital on Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, to bring Courtney her wheelchair, and that he was driving the white Ford pickup truck while Courtney was there with the Ford Escape. He did not ride back to Manton with Courtney when she drove Rebecca and Richard home. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a documentary. A documentary called oh, now I can't remember the name of what they used to call her. Good night, Miss Sherry. I can't remember. Anyway, it was about this lady that was like a shot caller for the hood rats in her part of the town, and she was just disgusting. And she had all these kids from all these different men, and they basically kept this girl prisoner in her home because she wanted her to have babies with her son so that she could take the babies, And they ended up murdering her on the railroad tracks, and she was mentally delayed. So she she was set up, but before they killed her, I mean, she just went through torment. And the mother's name is Sherry. I can't think of the name of the documentary. Give me a minute as we go through this, and it'll come back to me, I think. But they called Sherry, oh God, sugar baby or something like that. And that's what I'll think of it while we're going through this, and hopefully by the time we're done I will have thought about it. But this is what it reminds me of. Totally. It's just unbelievable. Um, Bradley begins to show some emotion about the possible outcome of this investigation. Bradley is given a break at this point in the interview. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025 at 1714, Detective Lieutenant Piscor and Detective Sergeant Voss conducted a recorded interview with Courtney Bartholomew. Courtney was read her Miranda rights from a Wexford County Miranda warning card. She confirmed her understanding to speak with the detectives at the time. Courtney identified that at the dinner at her house, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday night, December 10th, and this is the continuation from this morning when StreamYard cut me out, cut my live stream short. So I hope that you guys weren't too disappointed this morning, but we will get it finished now. So, what else? I didn't get to finish watching the end of the Brian Walsh hearing or trial today, so I'm gonna have to watch it later on tonight when I get done with you guys to see how it ended today. I'm assuming they're going to be calling Bukaki, aka Bukaki, to the stand eventually, hopefully tomorrow. But like I said, so far they haven't proven to me that he murdered her. So there's that. So let's get right into it since it's been a long day for all of us. We're going to pick up where we left off. I found out where it cut me out, and I'm going to pick up from there, okay? Okay. I thought maybe I'd be able to use my highlighter on this copy, but apparently not. Okay, so it cut us out right about right here. Let me see. Nope, can't use the highlighter. Okay, so it cut us out right at Bradley's given a break at this point in the interview. Okay. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025 at 1714, Detective Lieutenant Piscor and Detective Sergeant Voss conducted a recorded interview with Courtney Bartholomew. Courtney was read her Miranda rights from a Wexford County Miranda warning card. She confirmed her understanding of the rights explained to her, and she agreed to speak with the detectives at this time. Courtney identified that at the dinner at her house on Saturday, November 1st, 2025, it was herself, Rebecca, Kimberly, and Bentley, and that Bradley was hiding in the truck. Detective Lieutenant Piscor notified Courtney that this is a homicide investigation and the lies must stop. And if she lies, more charges will be brought. Courtney reported that Bradley is hiding in the truck because the girls won't come in if he's around because they don't like him. Gee, could it be because of his SOR? Huh, I think so. Piece of crap. She reported that the dinner ended around 1900 to 1930. The next thing that happened was she called Rebecca about the items she forgot to get her, and that she and Bradley went to Failers to drop the items off. At the time, they were in the Ford Escape. On Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, she was supposed to pick Rebecca up and waited around until about 18:30, and Rebecca called to say she was on her way to the hospital. She described the events at the hospital as she had previously. Bradley brought Courtney her wheelchair to the hospital. Bradley was driving the white Ford F-150, and she explained how he stopped at the major gas station to get gas for the truck while she drove Rebecca and Richard home. Courtney wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, and she was told he could not. She was worried about him being able to hear her in the next room. She reported talking to Rebecca Sunday night about getting shakes on Monday. She said that Rebecca asked her about the $2,000 and said that Rich was upset about something. Courtney confirmed the trip to... Just one second. Okay, sorry. Courtney confirmed the trip to Failer's house on Saturday after the dinner to drop the items off for Rebecca. I wonder what she had to drop off for. Oh yeah, the Tide Pods. Is that what it is? When Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked Courtney why she wanted to know if Bradley could hear her, she suggested the need to back up, saying she thinks she needs immunity. Detective Lieutenant Piscor notified Courtney that the prosecutor is the person who can give immunity. Courtney suggests we get the prosecutor here, and Detective Lieutenant Piscor says she will want to know what she has. Courtney said she will give us where the knife is and where the baby is, and that she will give it all to us. If she was, let me just say, if she was any kind of mother, it wouldn't take something like this to make her tell them where the baby is. I'm just going to put it out there. She's a piece of shit. There's no way around that. You can't convince me of anything else. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor confronts Courtney that she has guilty knowledge, she responded that she has been threatened, her child has been threatened, her home has been threatened, and she is done. Courtney renews her request for immunity and then asked for witness protection. Detective Sergeant Voss explains we can't offer her immunity. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor asks Courtney if the baby is alive, she shakes her head in the negative. Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney about her prior statement that Bradley hides in the truck. He asked her where he hides, and she identified in the cab. She describes it as a single cab truck, and he lays on the seat. Courtney reported that Bradley had put $15 worth of gas in the truck when he was at Major on Sunday night. Courtney asked if Bradley confessed, and Detective Sergeant Voss reported he'd told us a lot of stuff. Courtney confirmed that Bradley is using the phone with the number 550, and her phone is the 429 phone. She confirms that she had the 429 phone on Saturday, Sunday, and the Monday that Rebecca disappeared. She said her phone was taken on Monday night and she was told to go back in the house. Courtney said her phone was taken at about 20:30. She renewed her request to contact the prosecutor. Boy, she just thinks she's calling the shots. Detective Sergeant Voss again told her we need to know what she knows to take it to the prosecutor. When he suggests an example that she will even tell us where the baby is, she interrupts and says, quote, in the garbage in a blue cooler, end quote. When asked where she reported, quote, in the GFL, unquote, Courtney says, quote unquote, he said he put him in a black bag. The cooler's gone. The cooler's Brad's work cooler. Adding, he put him inside the cooler and drove him up and down the road looking for a GFL. That wasn't me. That wasn't mine. So a garbage bin that wasn't hers, I guess. I guess GFL is the name of the garbage company. That's the only thing I can figure out. At first I was thinking it was a landfill or something, but you don't drive up and down the road looking for a landfill. So I think it's the garbage company. When Detective Sergeant Voss asked why Courtney reported that it was related to Bradley going to jail last year when Fayler turned him in, she explained that it is all retaliation. She identified the night when they went home after their last interviews. She confronted him about his examination and his failure. He didn't take a lie detector test, so I don't know what she means by his failure. Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney which vehicle he used to get rid of the body, and she identified her white truck. She's then asked how he got her in a position to kill her. She explained how she pulled into her driveway. She had notified him she was on their road. She explained that she got to the house and talked to Rebecca for a few minutes, and Bradley walked up and pulled her out and said, quote unquote, I want to talk to you. Courtney described by the road and explained that, quote unquote, she didn't think anything of it. You know, Brad was supposed to be her stepdad. Courtney wanted to know where they were going and that Brad told her to take her ass in the house and don't worry about it. She said she went into the house because she didn't think he would hurt her. Now, just the fact that she says she didn't think he would hurt her, what, I mean, how is that the first thing that comes to her mind? Obviously, she's got reason to be concerned if that's the first thing that comes to her mind. Because I'm telling you, if my husband grabbed, let's say I had a daughter and he grabbed her and said, we need to talk, that wouldn't be the first thing in my mind. Oh, he won't hurt her, will he? I mean, what kind of family is this? It just blows me away. They act like this is just everyday business. Bradley is reported to have returned to the house at about 22:30 and told her that he had taken Rebecca home. Courtney confronted him that he had not, and he told her he had, and that she would call her in the morning. Courtney asked him for her phone, which she reported he told her was out in the shed, and he went out to get it. She said when he came back in the house, he said, quote unquote, yeah, she didn't go home. Instead, telling Courtney that he took her to a house, but when she asked him to take her to this house, he just told her that Rebecca said to him that she didn't want anything to do with Courtney. Courtney reported calling Rich to tell him to call her back ASAP, quote unquote, and that while Brad was watching her, she told Rich that, quote, dude, your old lady left with some guy, end quote, or Bradley would backhand her. Courtney confirmed for Detective Lieutenant Piscor that the story about the black car was made up and never happened. Asking her to continue, she reported Kimberly sending her coordinates to Rebecca's phone and asking Bradley why her daughter's phone would be across the road, and his response was, quote unquote, I don't fucking know. She asked Bradley to take her to the phone and said he took her right to it. She said that, now how would he know where the phone was? Because Kimberly didn't give him the coordinates. Kimberly gave Courtney the coordinates of where the phone is. So how did he know exactly where the phone would be? How did he take her right to it? That's what I want to know. How did he know? Unless he was there when it happened. She said that phone was, quote unquote, exactly where the coordinates is. She said it was out in the open and it appeared that someone had just set it down. They took the phone directly to Rich's, but before their arrival, she said that Bradley told her, quote unquote, "I'm telling you right fucking now, do not say a fucking word." Kimberly got the phone from Rich, and Courtney reported that Kimberly had called her and said she was taking the phone to the cops. She said Kimberly called her at 2100 on Tuesday night to tell her this. When asked to continue, Courtney identified that in her second to last drawer in her bedstand, she has razor knives that she uses to nick open her cellulite so that they will drain her cellulite. Oh my God, I can't tell you how gross that is. She reported that one was gone, which she said she knew because she counted them due to a teenage boy living in her house. This is making me think of this documentary I watched about this mentally delayed girl who got caught up with this family, ended up pregnant. The mother or the matriarch of this family, or the kingpin, she thinks she's some big, queen pin or whatever. Her name is Sherry, and she has cellulitis of the legs because she's got diabetes, and her legs are always wrapped, and she would make this mentally delayed girl wrap her feet and clean her feet, and just this reminds me of that. And I can't think of what the name of the documentary is. It was Goodnight Sugar Baby or something like that, because they called the mom Sugar Baby, I think. I'll have to think about it while we're finishing this. Making me think of that documentary. It's totally Sherry. Her name was Sherry. And it's totally giving me that vibe. Courtney agreed the knives are like scalpels. When she confronted Bradley about the missing knife, she answered he didn't say anything then. Detective Lieutenant Piscor confronted her that her use of the word them means he must have said something later, and she reported it was after her body was found. Courtney said she kept asking Bradley where her daughter was, saying he answered, quote unquote, "You'll find out soon enough." She goes on the report that after returning from his last interview, he told her about, quote unquote, Kimmy, was asking about woods behind the house to go trail riding. Courtney said that Kimberly will not talk to Bradley, even alone. Ever alone, sorry. She reported trying to get Rich Fisher to take Kimberly's bag to her. She said that Bradley said, quote unquote, "You can't have that. You're not taking her bag," he said. "Nobody's taking this bag." Courtney said she realized Kimberly's wallet was in the bag, questioning why he would want her wallet. Detective Lieutenant Piscor confronted Courtney that he had asked her for Kimberly's property while she was at the sheriff's office on Tuesday, and that she refused. She explained that she was told not to, suggesting she didn't want to get her quote-unquote ass beat. Sounds like he's pretty abusive. She reported that on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, in the morning, Bradley took the truck and went west on West 26th Road and was gone for about 20 minutes. She said when Bradley came back, she asked him if he had hurt her daughter, and he told her, quote unquote, "No, I didn't hurt her." Courtney said that was the same day Rebecca's body was found. He sounds like a piece of shit, to be honest with you, if I'm being totally honest. Courtney said that on Wednesday, November 26, 2025, in the morning, she confronted Bradley and asked him what he did. She reported he told her, quote unquote, "I'm going to tell you once, and I'm going to tell you, and you're going to fucking drop it, and you're going to shut the fuck up." He's like, "I'm the reason your fucking daughter's not here, that your life is upside down right now." When she asked him why, Bradley said, quote, "Rich fucked with the wrong motherfucker," end quote. She agrees this is all a revenge plot. Courtney said that when she asked him what he did to her daughter, Bradley said, quote, "I slit her fucking throat. The bitch deserved it." She goes on to say that he said Rich deserved it too, and it just happened to be your daughter that's going to pay for it. Wow, that's pretty cold-blooded. Courtney said when he asked about her grandson, she said Bradley said, quote, "Oh, I stuck him in a cooler, stuck him in a trash bag, threw him in the trash," end quote. Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked Courtney that if Bradley is paying Rich back, why cut the baby out? And she said, quote, "Because if he would have left the baby in there and had somebody found her before, he would have survived. He would have fought, or he would have thought," end quote. So what? He's worried about the baby talking? I mean, who cares if the baby survived? That's a good thing, right? Courtney was asked why not just cut the baby out and kill it? Why take it? And she said that he told her the baby wasn't breathing when he pulled him out. Again, she was asked why he'd take it. Now she answers it was because he didn't want Rich to see they were together. She admitted she didn't know what that meant. Yeah. Does he think you can tell whose baby it is just by looking at it or something? When asked about where the baby is now, Courtney said that he put him in a blue cooler in a trash bag and into a GFL container. She confirmed that she is talking about a residential GFL trash receptacle. Courtney said she was never at the location where the body was found because he wouldn't let her. She doesn't know how many times he went back to the location. When asked if she was killed at the location she was found or at the end of our driveway, she answers that she doesn't know, but said it wasn't in her driveway because he pulled away quickly with her. Courtney said that he walked out of his truck and not the house to get her out of her truck, confirming that it was from the escape and into the F-150. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor reminded Courtney that she knew where the knife was at, she said he threw it in a dumpster at Cadillac Shores. The Cadillac Shores is like a city. It's not like the Cadillac car lot. So it's a city in this county, or town in this county. When asked when he had done that, she first announced that it was her hunting knife. She said it was probably like a week after that the knife was put in the dumpster. She did not know what happened to the disposable scalpel, adding that she had no clue and wished she knew. I can't believe she uses those scalpels to drain her cellulitis. That's so disgusting, and it's so unhealthy. You can't. That's not what you're supposed to do at all. Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney what she was looking for in an immunity agreement, what she was afraid of, and then confronted her that she had provided a lot of misinformation to the police. She reassured us that she would cooperate, quote unquote, the whole way. Detective Lieutenant Piscor pointed out her obstruction of the investigation, and she agrees. So now they're just going to trust her completely and fully. And I don't think she can get immunity, right? Because she was part of the actual murder. She's the one that cut the baby out of her daughter's stomach, right? So I don't think that she is a candidate for immunity, to be honest with you. When asked about the seat covers, Courtney said Bradley burned them. She also said that Bradley went out and cleaned the truck, specifically mentioning the dash, but they didn't clean the blood out of the floor. That makes no sense. She described that the cloth was burned and the bucket was taken back into the house. Courtney didn't think the floor in the truck was cleaned. Courtney was asked about the quote-unquote Kimmy stuff, and she suggested that Kimberly doesn't know anything. She was just trying to feel important. Detective Sergeant Voss confronted Courtney that she was the person who told us recently that Kimberly was in the black car. She reported that Bradley came up with the story about Kimberly. So there was no black car, apparently. There's so many lies and stuff. This is just a clusterfuck. It's a shit show. That's what it is. Courtney said she knew that Kimberly told us that she hit Courtney, or that Courtney hit her and hit her body. When asked how she knows that Kimberly told us this, Courtney said that she told Ashley and reported Ashley is Rich's baby mama. Ashley Croce has a child with Richard Fahler. So how many kids does that make for Richard Fahler? Is that just 2? And we don't know for sure that that's Rebecca's baby daddy. It could be anybody from the sounds of it. It sounds like they were all like in the mix, which is sick. Courtney said that all that Kimberly did was lie to the police and had no involvement. She also said that Rich Fahler was also not involved, but did say she didn't know if he deleted anything from Rebecca's phone or not. Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked about a text message about not allowing anyone from the state of Michigan on her property, and Rebecca saying they should talk about that, so she is clear on what that means. And Courtney denied sending such a message. Because remember, Rebecca didn't want the state there. She didn't want Children and Family Services to take her new baby. Kind of sounds like she was kind of following in the footsteps of Courtney as far as, mother being the mother of the year goes. Detective Sergeant Voss asked when when she first learned what had actually happened, and she said it was after her body was found. Detective Lieutenant Piscor then pointed out she could have covered herself if she had cooperated on Monday at Mount Pleasant. Detective Sergeant Voss asked how Bradley told her how he killed Rebecca, and she said, quote, "He told me that he slit her fucking throat," end quote. When he asked how she told him that he cut the baby out, she said, "He had one of my scalpels." She denied that he said how he did that. Quote, "He just said that I cut him out. That was it. That was all he said." Detective Sergeant Voss asks about the baby getting cut out, being put in a garbage bag and put into a blue cooler, and what he said about that. She said that he just said he took him, put him in a garbage bag, stuffed him in a cooler, and threw him in a trash dumpster. She knows that it was that specific cooler because it's his work cooler, is gone. She shows the size as a lunchbox size cooler and described it as soft-sided cooler with hard plastic inside to keep the side supported, and it has a black strap. Courtney reported the garbage bags came from her house, and she knows this because she counts her garbage bags, and she noticed that 2 of her garbage bags are gone. Are you fucking kidding me? You're going to tell me that you count your garbage bags. How insane is that? She's full of shit. She does. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, who the fuck counts their garbage bags? I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't think that's true. She's a freaking liar. The hunting knife is described by Courtney as being green, having serrated blade on one side and a flat blade on the other, and is a fixed blade, not a folding knife. She is sure that Bradley used the knife. The knife was purchased at Walmart within the last year, and she provided a description of it. When asked if she noticed any items missing out of Kimberly's purse, she didn't report any. Courtney denied that Bentley knows anything. Well, I would hope not. He's, 15? Or younger? We took a break and moved Courtney to another room. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025 at 1827, Detective Sergeant Voss and I began a second recorded interview with Bradley Bartholomew. We reminded Bradley that the rights we discussed earlier still applied, and he agreed he was still good with it. Detective Lieutenant Piscor notified Bradley that Courtney was putting it all on him. He broke down details that Courtney had provided. Detective Lieutenant Piscor explains how the investigation has come down to involving himself and Courtney. Detective Sergeant Voss explains how we believe it went down and how evidence will support the investigation. An appeal to Bradley was made that he needed to tell the truth. Bradley is confronted with how much gas he put in the truck when he was at Major on Sunday after leaving the hospital. And he reported $5. And Courtney said he put $15 in, correct? I don't know why that's a big deal, but it contradicts each other. When asked about information he feels we should know that we haven't already discussed, Bradley reports that he knows his lunch cooler is missing and describes it as being blue and thinks it's an Oregon Trail brand. He said it's big enough to hold an 8-pack of pop bottles. His description of the cooler is basically the same as Courtney's. He estimates the cooler has been missing for 2.5 weeks. Bradley is not aware of Courtney counting their garbage bags because Bentley uses them. We confront I still can't believe she counts garbage bags. We confront Bradley that she is blaming him for dumping the body and putting the fetus in his lunchbox. It is explained that she is attempting to place the blame on him. Bradley is confronted with a statement he made in his first interview that Rebecca was stabbed. Detective Sergeant Voss asks him about that statement again and how he knows she was stabbed. Detective Lieutenant Piscor pointed out that both he and Courtney have reported on the scalpel and that you don't need to make a stabbing motion with a scalpel to slice someone open. It is pointed out that Courtney said he is threatening her, including in the parking lot prior to them leaving for their interviews on Monday. It is also shared with him that she identified that it was revenge for Failer turning him in last year on his SOR violation, to which he responded, quote unquote, "That's bullshit." It is explained that what Courtney had said about why the baby was cut out of Rebecca during a revenge murder doesn't make sense. We remind him of the Nikki story and her attempts to get custody of Kimberly and Rebecca's children. Bradley begins to tell us, quote, "I'm sure Courtney stabbed her because she did have a hunting knife," end quote. He reported the case for the knife went into the trash, and he thinks it might still be in the trash bin. He identified that the knife went into the trash at Cadillac Shores. He reports that Courtney is the one who cut the baby out of Rebecca. He confirms that he witnessed this and it had taken place right where she is laying out on the trails behind the house. He confirms that that is the reason he had told an officer to check the trails behind the house. He reported that he knew Rebecca had a bunch of leaves on her because Courtney buried her in leaves where she was found. Oh, that's sad. What a piece of shit. Who could do that to their own daughter? Bradley confirmed that a scalpel from the bedroom was used. When he was asked if the baby was alive when he was cut out, he responded no. He confirmed that it was just the two of them that were present. When Detective Sergeant Voss asked when she stabbed her, where did she stab her, and Bradley said in the truck. I think they meant where on the body. When asked what location on Rebecca's body, had Courtney stabbed her, he responded he didn't know as he jumped out of the truck. Bradley reported that Rebecca had gotten into the white truck voluntarily. He confirms that the plan to get the Tide Pods was legitimate, and he was unaware that the plan was to stab her. Bradley denied that there was a plan of this. She wouldn't go anywhere with him voluntarily because Courtney said that neither she nor Kim would ever go anywhere near him. That's why they wouldn't go to dinner at her house if he was home. While in the pickup, Bradley said he was driving, Courtney was in the passenger seat, and Rebecca was in the middle. He claimed not to know what Courtney had told Rebecca to get her into the truck. Initially, Bradley was in the house with Bentley, and he said he went outside to get away from everything so he didn't have to worry about Rebecca coming in. He denied getting a phone call from Courtney that they were in the driveway. When he got outside, Courtney and Rebecca went in the Escape, and Courtney had said she blew out a tire on the Escape. So they got in the truck. From there, they got on the trail to the woods because the truck doesn't have a valid plate. Bradley said that Courtney was mad because Rebecca was always bad-mouthing her and wouldn't give her a chance to be a mom. She was adopted when she was little. It's too late to be a mom. Bradley confirmed that Courtney wanted the baby for herself. Despite Courtney wanting the baby, Bradley said it was unrealistic to expect that Courtney would be allowed to adopt the baby. I don't think so. Bradley she must live in a frickin', she's completely lost her mind. Bradley described that the actual stabbing began when, quote, Courtney just grabbed the knife and started stabbing at her. The knife had been down on Courtney's right. He said she stabbed her in the chest as far as he knew, but said he jumped out of the truck when Courtney started swinging, so he wasn't sure. Bradley knew they were on the trails and said he could take officers to the scene. Detective Sergeant Voss asked at what point did they realize that Rebecca was dead, and he identified that it was after Courtney cut the baby out of her. He said that Courtney tried CPR on the baby. Bradley said that Rebecca was not in the truck when Courtney cut the baby out of her. He said that Courtney tricked her to get out of her truck and made her start walking after she had already been stabbed. Rebecca walked behind the truck, but is unable to run due to her pregnancy. When Detective Sergeant Voss asked what Courtney did to kill Rebecca, he explained that Courtney had Rebecca lay down so she was still alive, and she cut the baby out of her. Bradley said he was beside the trail telling Courtney that she doesn't need to do that. That's not right. They do not have the bag or the cooler that the baby is eventually put in at this time. Baby is out. Bradley said they just left Rebecca there. He identified that he couldn't tell if she was dead or not. Courtney decided that they should head to the house, and Courtney is holding the baby on her lap as Bradley drives. Bradley said the baby never took a breath, and he never heard the baby cry. It took about 5 minutes to get back to the house. Bradley stated that Courtney took the baby into the house and into her bedroom where she was trying to perform CPR on the baby, which is on a towel on the bed. He also said he tried to perform CPR on the baby by doing chest compressions and breathing into his mouth. He said this went on for about 15 minutes after they arrived home. Well, I'm telling you, if it took them 5 minutes to get home, that's 5 minutes without CPR. That baby was already brain dead if he was alive, and I don't think he was. These people are monsters. Bradley reported that Courtney went to the kitchen, got a garbage bag, and placed the baby in a garbage bag and went outside with the baby. He identified that the cooler was in the bed of the white truck, and he saw the baby go into the cooler. Yeah, the baby went into the cooler, like he put himself in there, right? He explained that the baby went into the cooler because the cooler can be zipped up and it had the baby in it, and to dispose of the cooler and not be seen. Bradley said that Bradley said that same night he's with Courtney, who is now driving the truck, and they went and disposed of the knife first, and they put the baby in a GFL tote at a house north of their residence, where there had been some logging done recently. God, this is making me sick to my stomach. Bradley denied burning the seat covers from the truck. He said Courtney burned them. Who gives a shit? He did say he cleaned inside the truck using a gray bucket and some bleach and water. He denied cleaning the floor and believes there will be blood on the floor of the truck. Jesus. Bradley denied placing the phone on the 2-track, but again said he found the phone on the 2-track. He did agree that he had the 550 phone on his person on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Detective Sergeant Voss confronts Bradley that if Courtney told him to do this, we want him to tell us now. He denies that he stabbed Rebecca. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked Bradley about the card found with Rebecca, he said that he didn't know anything about it and couldn't recall what it was, but knew it was on social media. He did not see a card when he left the area. He also did not see another weapon or tools when he was at the scene or anything else. Bradley doesn't know if anyone has been to the scene where Rebecca's body was since she was killed, and he denied that he had been back to the scene. When Bradley was asked about Rebecca not having shoes on, he appeared surprised. Bradley gives a description of where Rebecca's body was in relation to the trail and where things occurred. He denied that Courtney had asked him to position the truck so the truck lights would assist. He said the lights shining around the side of the front of the truck was enough illumination for Courtney to cut the baby out. When he left, the body was still on the same hill. Courtney covered Rebecca with leaves, but denied branches were placed on her, because that would be like unacceptable to put branches on her, right? I mean, you got to draw the line somewhere. Unfucking believable. At the time, the baby was on a towel next to Courtney. Questioning the presence of a towel, Bradley is asked if he thinks Courtney planned this, and he said, quote, "I have a feeling she did," but never told him of the plan. Bradley did not see Courtney place a towel or the hunting knife in the truck. Using a Wexford County map, Bradley showed the route of travel he took and approximately where they were. He agreed he could take officers out and show them where things had taken place on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. While discussing if there was blood on any of the clothing he or Courtney had been wearing that night, he identified that when they got home, Courtney changed into a nightgown. Previously, he had said they had gone out and disposed of the baby and the knife that night. Now, when asking about this, Bradley said that the baby stayed in the cooler that night on the back porch. You just can't make this shit up. He now reported it was Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Good morning, everyone. And I'm back. And this time we are going to get through the frickin' affidavits for Rebecca Park. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why StreamYard kept shutting me down yesterday, but I'm determined to get through it today. And I would appreciate it if everybody was just patient with me. I know I ask that all the time, but I'm just saying, I'm trying my hardest. And yesterday really wasn't my fault. Yesterday wasn't user error. It was StreamYard kept cutting me out or, shutting me down. That's why I finally just gave up and decided to continue today. So let's give it a go. Before we get started, though, what about that Brian Walsh case? I truly expected at least Yuri Buchanan to take the stand, and he didn't. I kind of was hoping that the defense would call Proctor to the stand. They didn't. So I wonder, does that mean that Proctor, there were no text messages or anything about Anna Walsh in the download of Proctor's data? I don't know. I don't know what that means. And most importantly, Brian Walsh didn't take the stand, which surprises me. But I still don't think that the Commonwealth has proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt. So we'll see. Right now, they're going through the charges and the jury instructions, and I believe the case will be handed over to the jury tomorrow morning after closing arguments. So the jury has been sent home for the day, and the defense has rested. So yeah, pretty insane. I think they kind of expected the trial to go a little bit longer, but it's a breath of fresh air seeing a judge that has empathy, compassion for her job. She's fair. There are some things that she kind of decided on that I didn't really agree with, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But all in all, she was a very fair judge and very friendly, very personable. She was polite to both the defense and the Commonwealth equally. She actually sustained objections for the defense for once. It's weird to hear that. The first time the defense objected to something that she sustained, I was in shock. It caught my attention. I was doing something else, and it was so out of the blue for me that it actually stopped me from what I was doing and made me look. Well, did I hear that right? Because we all know that with you know Judge Canoni, that wasn't so much the case. So, yeah, we should be getting a verdict by Monday, I would think. Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. It'll be going to the jury tomorrow. And unless they are that quick, maybe even as early as tomorrow, we'll get a verdict. So, yeah, there's that. So I'm going to pick up again where we left off yesterday and hopefully get through the rest of it today. And I appreciate your patience. I appreciate anybody that stuck with me for this because it's been as trying for me as it has for you. And I'm sure just as frustrating. So hopefully sorry, that's my coffee maker. Hopefully this is the final round for the Rebecca Park affidavits. So here we go. I believe it cut me off around here. Courtney covered Rebecca with leaves, but denied branches were placed on her. Because why? Branches are just too far? I mean, are you saying that, putting leaves on her is where you draw the line? Really? Because branches is just, you can't do that. That's crossing over the threshold of being humane. You couldn't do that to your daughter. Oh, please. Anyway, let's go back. I'm sorry. At the time, the baby was on a towel next to Courtney. Questioning the presence of a towel, Bradley is asked if he thinks Courtney planned this, and he said, quote, "I have a feeling she did," end quote, but never told him of a plan. Then I have one question. Why did he pull Rebecca into the truck and say that we need to talk if he didn't know of a plan? What did he have to talk to her about? Does he ever say? No, because he didn't have anything to talk to her about. That was all a ploy to get her in the truck alone with Bradley. I truly believe that. Using a Wexford County map, Bradley showed the route of travel. Oh, sorry. Bradley did not see Courtney place a towel or the hunting knife in the truck. Using a Wexford County map, Bradley showed the route of travel he took and approximately where they were. He agreed he could take officers out and show them where things had taken November 3rd, 2025. While discussing if there was blood on any of the clothing he or Courtney had been wearing that night, he identified that when they got home, Courtney changed into a nightgown. So you're telling me, because she had to have gotten bloody. There's no way she cut a baby out of another woman's stomach while she was alive and there was no blood. And she just came home and put her nightgown on and got ready for bed. She didn't take a shower or anything. I mean, these people just, cease to amaze me. It's incredible what they are capable of. I can't say that enough. Courtney changed into a nightgown. Previously, he had said they had gone out and disposed of the baby and the knife that night. Now, when asking about this, Bradley said that the baby stayed in the cooler that night on the back porch. Oh, brother. He now reported it was Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, when the items were placed in dumpsters, specifically because Thursday is garbage day. He said that it was Courtney who placed the cooler with the baby in it in the garage, in the garbage tote. What does it matter? You both are culpable of the crime. I mean, you both committed the crime. I don't give a shit who threw what away at this point. They were in the escape when they discarded the knife and the baby. Bradley said one of the things that he believes Courtney said after she couldn't revive the baby was, quote, "The bitch killed my baby," end quote. Bradley reported that he watched Courtney throw the knife, the knife was placed in the glove box of the Ford Escape, and he believes that there will likely be blood located in the glove box. That sentence doesn't make sense. At this point, I'm wondering if Courtney is going to claim mental mental or psychological defense. I mean, the fact that she said the bitch killed my baby, what kind of mental state does that show us that she's in at that time? I mean, she's calling it her baby. I mean, is she going to claim mental or psychological issues or take that route, or is she just going to own up to it? It'll be interesting to see. On Sunday, November 30th, 2025 at 20:50, Detective Sergeant Voss and I began a second recorded interview with Courtney Bartholomew. As she enters the interview room, Courtney reports she's ready to go home. When it's pointed out that she is saying it's all Bradley, when asked what she thinks Bradley has been saying, she reported that he is probably saying it's both of them. And we confirm her statement and say that we know they are both present. Courtney denies that she wanted the baby for herself. She admitted that Bradley brought the baby to the house and told her that the baby was not breathing. Courtney said she told him to call 911, but Bradley said they weren't doing that. She denied getting involved and said it was because she has Bentley and can't put herself in a position like that. Courtney reported that the day the drones were flying around, the baby was in the metal shed out in the back. So Bradley's saying that before that the baby spent the night in the cooler on the back porch, and that they got rid of the baby and all the evidence the next day. So when exactly was the baby in the metal shed? I mean, when did they move the baby from the back porch to the metal shed? I have so many questions. I'm confused. They keep changing their story so much it's hard to know what's the truth and what's not. Courtney said she knew that Bradley was going to try to pin this on her because he told her, quote, "Bitch, I'll take you down with me," end quote. Courtney told us that Bentley can prove that she was home on the 3rd. Please don't bring this child into this. He's been through enough. Courtney is confronted with her explanation that Rebecca willingly got into the truck. He then murdered her and kept the fetus out. When confronted with cellular telephone data and location data records, Courtney announces that Bradley had taken her phone so she couldn't call the police. Courtney is confronted with her version of events being difficult to believe, to say the least. Eventually, Courtney said she is going to tell us what happened. Quote, "Brad took her. He brought the baby back. I tried. I didn't. I couldn't. I tried to save my grandson," end quote, and began to cry. Detective Sergeant Voss asked how Bradley, quote unquote, took Rebecca. Courtney said he pulled her out of the car and she got in the truck. Now, remember earlier in one of Courtney's earlier statements, she said that neither Kimberly or Rebecca would come to the house if Bradley was around. And so Saturday night when they came over for dinner, Bradley was hiding in the truck, laying down in the bed in the cab of his truck, because she knew that Rebecca and Kimberly would not come in the house for dinner if Bradley was around. They disliked him that much. So you're telling me that she willingly got in the truck alone with Bradley? I'm not buying it, not for a minute. You can't keep changing your story like this. It's just too much. Courtney admits that she told Rebecca she was going to come with her. She places herself in the truck on the passenger side. Rebecca is in the middle and Bradley is driving. Bradley has the knife, according to her. From the house, they drove to where Bradley ended up stabbing Rebecca. She claimed not to know Rebecca was going to die that night. Courtney places Bradley across South 21 and a half Road from their house as she is arriving with Rebecca. Courtney admits she knows something is going to go down because Bradley is on foot across the road waiting for them to arrive. She reported that Bradley approached the vehicle by just walking up on her side, grabbed Rebecca by the arm, and got her out of the escape, and she willingly gets into the pickup to go for a ride after he told Rebecca, quote, "Your mom's going with us," end quote. From the house, they drive to where Rebecca gets stabbed. Courtney said that Bradley told Rebecca to get out of the truck while Courtney stayed inside. Rebecca is taken to the rear of the truck where Bradley stabbed her. At first, she said she assumed that he stabbed Rebecca because he came back with the knife all bloody. When Detective Sergeant Voss asked Courtney at what point did she cut the baby out of Rebecca, she answered, quote, "I didn't, he did, and he handed him to me," end quote. It breaks my heart how they keep referring to the baby as he. Courtney also said the baby wasn't breathing and she didn't hear him cry. Courtney claimed to have never gotten out of the truck because she didn't have her crutches or her wheelchair. She again claimed that this was a revenge plot because she had a sexual relationship with Rich and because Rich put Bradley in jail. She claimed that Bradley wanted to hurt Rich. I just can't believe how all these people are having sex. It's insane. When confronted with the report that she stabbed Rebecca while driving down the road, Courtney denied it. When asked how all the blood got in the truck, she answered that it was from the knife, then suggested that Rebecca got back in the truck. Eventually, Courtney admitted that she cut the baby out of Rebecca in an attempt to save him so she could take him to Rich. When she cut the baby out, Courtney said that Rebecca was still conscious and Bradley was holding the knife to her throat. She told Rebecca to lay back, quote, "Your baby's gonna die," end quote. Courtney denied that Rebecca had been stabbed while in the truck. Revisiting the driveway, Detective Sergeant Voss asked if Bradley held the knife to her throat to get her into the truck, and Courtney nodded her head in the affirmative. While in the truck, Bradley put the knife down by his left side. During the ride, Detective Sergeant Voss asked what is said to Rebecca, and Courtney said she told her everything is going to be okay. Courtney said she promised that Bradley wasn't going to hurt her. When they get to the area where this happens, Bradley pulled Rebecca out of the truck and he spun her around and stabbed her in the back, quote, 4 or 5 times, end quote. Bradley brings Rebecca to her side of the truck and Bradley brings Rebecca to her side of the truck and is sitting next to the door, and Bradley ordered Rebecca to lay back. Courtney said she told Rebecca that if she doesn't lay back, her baby is going to die. In the truck and saw the scalpel. So she hurried up and did it, but her grandson wasn't breathing. At this point, you lose the right to call him your grandson. I'm sorry. You're an animal. That's all you are. You're a ruthless, gutless, spineless parasite. Next, she said that Bradley used a cord from the snowplow on the truck to hook her body. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I've skipped a paragraph. Courtney said she started her incision along her belly, and Bradley told her to cut downward. It would be easier. Courtney reported that Rebecca is still talking at this time, telling her to hurry up and asking if he is out. She said she told Rebecca he was about out and that Rebecca told her to save him. Can you imagine being in a situation and being so desperate that you have to ask your killer to save your baby? I couldn't imagine what was going through Rebecca's mind. I mean, that just goes to show you the depth of a mother's love. I mean, here she's being killed, murdered, butchered by her biological mother. And the first thing that she can think of to say is, please save my baby. She's asking her killer to save her baby. She's putting that in her killer's hands. Could you imagine what was going through her head? I mean, the last person you want to put hands on your baby is the person that's butchering you. But you have no other choice if your baby's to survive. That is just heart-wrenching to me. And the fact that this young mother, the last words that she spoke were to her killer, asking her killer to save her baby's life. I couldn't imagine. It's unfathomable. I can't say that word. I don't know why I even try. Sorry. When she got the baby out, Courtney said she had dental floss from the dash that she had put in her pocket because she knew she would have to tie off the umbilical cord. She reported tying off the umbilical cord the best that she could. Once the baby was out, she said that Bradley slit Rebecca's throat with the knife. Next, she said that Bradley used a cord from the snowplow on the truck to hook her body to the truck, and he pulled Rebecca down the bank. Quote, maybe 20 feet, end quote, pulling her back and off the road. She said he then covered her with leaves, but no branches, right? Courtney said the towel was in the truck already, but she didn't know how the scalpel got into the truck. Courtney talked about how she would have come to the sheriff's office if she had been able to give the baby to Rich to report what happened. Discussing this, she claims that since this happened, she hasn't been able to get away from Bradley. When reminded that on Monday she was in Mount Pleasant and he was in Grayling, she could have said something then. Courtney confirmed that after she was stabbed, Rebecca never got back in the truck. She was asked how the blood got into the truck, and Courtney reported that it was from the umbilical cord making blood fly all over. So that is how many ways have they given now for the blood to be in the truck? Four different ways. The knife, the clothing, the umbilical cord, or Rebecca. Pick a lie and stick to it already. Courtney said she never stabbed Rebecca. She was only responsible for trying to save her grandson. Yeah, I didn't stab her up, but I just disemboweled her. That's all. That's all I did. When asked if she thought she should have tried to save her daughter, Courtney said she couldn't. When asked how many, she wouldn't have had to save her daughter if she didn't slice her daughter open and disembowel her. When asked how many times she'd talked, she reported it was only once. She identified she had the 429 phone and that the call they had lasted about 10 minutes. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor confronted Courtney with the 2 incisions she admitted to having made to remove the baby, he asked her if she thinks Rebecca would have survived those wounds, and she said, quote, no, probably not. And I ask you, why? Women survive that every day. Because you know you butchered her. That's why. Women survive C-sections every day, but they don't survive butchering and disembowelment. That's why you knew she couldn't be saved. No other reason but that. Courtney admitted that about 1 to 2 months prior to this having happened, Bradley researched the procedure for getting a baby out. Courtney said that Bradley put the items in the dumpster, but she was present in the Ford Escape for both. Courtney is asked whose idea it was to leave items at the crime scene, and she said it was Brad's. She then identified that the items were Kimberly's debit card and a razor knife. Courtney reported these items were placed after Kimberly went on social media saying that Courtney and Bradley were responsible for the purpose of framing Kimberly. When pressed on the debit card, Courtney said it belonged to James Mercer, not Kimberly, and the card came from Kimberly's backpack. She said he used one of the plastic bags from her backpack to keep from getting his fingerprints on it. These items were suspected to have been placed by Bradley the day before Rebecca's body was recovered. She said he left with the escape that day for 20 minutes. Detective Lieutenant Piscor asked Courtney to provide some information that isn't already known that can verify her statements, and she reported, quote, Brad said it was his, end quote, in reference to Rebecca's baby. Now, when it is questioned that they don't like each other, Courtney says, quote, yes, they do, end quote. So now it's coming out that Rebecca and Bradley were having relations. Could it be more twisted? Kimberly is sleeping with Rebecca's fiance. Rebecca has been with Rich Faylor, her fiance, and now Bradley. Courtney has been with Bradley, her husband, and Richard Faylor. Kimberly has been with Richard Faylor. Now, are we going to find out that Kimberly was with Bradley too? This is so twisted. I can't even begin to tell you what I'm thinking. This is just wow. They're just bored, I guess, and so they just all sleep with each other. Revisiting the conversation she had with Bradley a month prior about C-sections, she reported that he looked it up on his phone. When asked why they were having that discussion, Courtney answered, quote, because that's what he said he was going to that's what he said was going to happen, end quote. She said he told her he was going to cut the baby out of Rebecca right in front of Rich. Courtney said she brushed it off. Now, why cut the baby out in front of Rich if you believe it's your baby? What's that going to do? I'm not so their lies are starting to collide. And so none of it's making sense now. I mean, Jesus, right? Oh my God. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Revisiting the conversation she had with Bradley a month. Okay, wait. Sorry. When Detective Lieutenant Piscor commented on Courtney's story about having delivered a premature baby that was shown down in the NICU, she denied it and suggested it was a friend's baby that she was thinking about giving up. As she is being confronted with the obviousness that there was a plan for this to happen, Courtney said that Bradley had told her to pull straight in, but she didn't. She turned the corner in her driveway instead. Questioning why he told her to pull in straight, Courtney reveals that Bradley had told her if he was going to do anything, it would be right here. When he does grab Rebecca, Courtney tries to get him to stop, but she said that he had the knife to Rebecca's throat, and he ordered everyone to get in the white truck. While in the truck, Rebecca slid over to Courtney, asking what was going on, and she said she reassured her that Bradley just wanted to talk. Talk about what? I'm still confused as to what Bradley needed to talk about with Rebecca that was so important. They have yet to say. Courtney described that Rebecca was calm after just having a knife held to her throat to get her in the truck. And that is it. Wow. Okay. So, there you have it. Those are the claims of Courtney and Bradley in their police detective interviews. I don't know what to believe. All I know is that they both were present when Courtney butchered her biological daughter to take her baby. Um, I don't know if it's because she suspected that it was Bradley's baby and she wasn't going to have her daughter giving birth to what a baby that should have been hers in her mind, or if it truly was a revenge plot, because Rich Failer had put Bradley in jail for SA, or if Courtney was jealous of Rebecca and Rich Failer and she was doing this to out of revenge for the fact that her biological daughter was with the man she loves or wanted to be with. There's so many possibilities for motive in this story that it's a real it's not a real who done it because we know who did it. But and I know you don't have to have a motive to charge somebody with murder, but the jury likes to have a motive. They like to have a reason, or a possible reasoning for why somebody could do something like this, because they don't want to believe that somebody's this devoid of empathy and humaneness. Is that a word? I don't know. But juries like to have a motive. It makes it easier for them to believe that this kind of thing happens. So to come up with a motive, I mean, there are so many. It's a twisted web of fornication and SA and abuse and, people wanting to take over other people's children. It's just, it's so, it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so compound. I thought it was just an easy, you know, they committed it, that's it, it's over. But there are so many underlying stories behind this that it's going to be a very interesting trial. And I hope that they do stream it. Um, and if they do, we're going to cover it um, from gavel to gavel. I just, we're still going to stay on top of it. We're still going to report on it. I just, even if they don't stream the trial, we're going to, you know, give daily or weekly or whatever updates. But I think it'd be very interesting to watch, unless they plead guilty, and then we won't get to see any of it unfold, which I guess that's a good thing. I'm not going to say it's not, but um, the fact that she, with her last dying breath, asked her killer to save her baby is just rips my heart out. It just, I couldn't imagine having to do that. Have, look the butcher in the eye, the person that's disemboweling me as we speak, looking them in the eye and saying, please save my baby. I mean, it just rips your heart out. It's so surreal. And for her mom to go home and just put her nightgown on and get ready for bed, like they just ran to the store and grabbed cigarettes. What are these people? Where are these people raised? Is what I want to know. I mean, they have no moral compass, apparently. This is just, and they talk about all of it. Like they talk about, everybody sleeping with everybody and whose baby this might have been and whose baby that might have been. They talk about it like it's an everyday occurrence, like it's, you know no big thing but a chicken wing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it was definitely premeditated. If he was looking up how to do C-sections online about a month prior, then it was definitely premeditated. And Courtney knew all about it. Courtney probably told him she wanted the baby. And so that's just my opinion. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm glad we finally got through it. And I will definitely keep you posted as to what's going on. I do know that they have another hearing, I think January 13th, but I will double check and make sure and see if it's going to be streamed. So, um, I thank you for tuning in and have a good rest of your day. And I don't know, I work this weekend, so I don't know if I will see you this weekend, but if something comes up with any of the cases that I've been going over, I will definitely let you know. So be safe, stay warm, get your shopping done, and I will see you all later. Thank you. Bye bye.